What's up, you filthy casuals? Welcome to the Casual Shenanigans Gaming Podcast, a podcast all about everything PC gaming related. It's good to be back after a long vacation.
So rough. Oh, man.
Oh, life was hard.
Didn't think I was going to make it to the end there for a while.
I'm one of your hosts, JERMgaming, and tonight I am joined by Dave's catchphrase, the not so evil Viking 13. I thought we had something else for a minute.
Dude, you gotta get some coffee.
I'm sorry. Let me just drink my pet me up liquid.
It's a Jeremiah-sized mug, I see. I feel so manly in comparison.
Well, it's not fit for a peasant, is it?
I'm also joined by James the Gray. Joel might be here later. Joel doesn't feel super well. Dave thinks it's because of all the Star Wars news today. Joel's just come down with a case of the vapors.
I think my exact words, James, I told Jeremiah, I'm like, I think Joel has actually spent himself today. Take that as you will.
Joel's empty. Interpret that as you wish. If he was here, you know what he would be saying.
His hands are so tired from clapping.
So I have a completely unrelated story to anything gaming related to tell about today. Dave, you know my friend Mason.
Yes, I do.
James, you haven't met him. Mason,
Yes, I did.
You did?
Yeah, when I was in town. You guys have gotten back from that shoot really late?
Oh, yeah. So Mason is a friend of mine who lives his life like a little bit of a bohemian. Example, he's just found out that he had 30 days to move out of the house he's renting with a bunch of other people because the landlords are selling it. And he has decided that he wants to be homeless. He's done this before intentionally. He's just going to get a storage unit, put most of his stuff in it, and just live out of his car. Because of that, he has started taking car maintenance a little more seriously, which is maybe a little late to be doing that because his car is a '02 Civic Si, which is not a bad car at all, but he bought it for like $2,500 when its street price was $7,000 because it had some issues. He bought it with 200,000 miles on it, poorly maintained. My brother helped him out. My brother used to live with him, and he disconnected all of the warning lights on the dash, so there were no more warning lights past inspection. Everything's good.
See no evil.
Pretty much. But Mason's car is like an experiment in if it can go wrong, it has, and he ignored it. So just a brief list of everything wrong with his car as of right now. I ran an OBD scanner on it today, and I got error codes for all four.
Not enough room to display codes.
All four cylinder banks misfiring, the accelerator position sensor, the throttle position sensor, camshaft position sensor, catalytic converter, and like two other random things that we were going to have to look up. But why I came over today was it was running real rough. And Mason, by the way, comes to my house to edit pictures because he doesn't have like a monitor to hook his computer up to. It's a whole big thing. Mason's car also, like, second gear is good. First gear is okay. Third gear, we don't know. We don't use third gear.
We don't talk about third gear.
Second gear, you have to hold it in second gear. Otherwise, it'll pop out. Fourth gear is not bad. Fifth gear, if you floor it, goes wubba, 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 wubba. So fifth gear is okay if you're desperate. The rear tires are cupped. Power steering's been gone for a long time. The steering wheel's coming apart, so pieces of it are hitting you as you're turning it with no power steering. Air conditioning, of course, doesn't have air conditioning.
That was probably the first to go.
The cruise control is absolutely broken. And the inside of it is covered in cattails because he found a bunch in a swamp and tucked them up in front of the dash because he liked how they looked. But anyway, that's not why he brought his car over today. That's all doable stuff. He brought his car over to today because it was running real rough. Now, have either of you like ever had a cylinder go out in one of your cars? Do you guys understand how cylinders work in a car?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Well, one of his cylinders wasn't firing. His interpretation of a little rough was the whole car going whoa, and belching smoke out the back of it, and he nursed it about an hour to my house to edit pictures and mention, like, by the way, I think my car's been a little weird if you wouldn't mind taking a look at it.
It's like on fire in the parking lot the whole time.
Oh, by the way, Dave, you could turn on your gain up just a tiny bit on your webcam. I'm just looking at the stuff. But yeah, so I quickly determined one of his cylinders was not firing, and we found out it was the coil pack, which is like the wire that goes down on top of the spark plug, supplies juice to it. It's a little more complicated than that, but that's basically what happened. So then we tried to get the coil pack out of the car to see if it was bad. And it took like 20 minutes to get it out because it turns out it had melted and fused to the inside of the cylinder that the spark plug sits in. So we pull it out and look down in there, and the spark plug is just in pieces. Like there's just grease and dirt and little bits of metal just laying in the bottom of this thing. So we're like, well, the wrench isn't going to get that out. And I used a socket, like a spark plug socket, and worked on it for a couple minutes and couldn't get it out. And I called my brother-in-law because he's like the king of ghetto fixing stuff. And his only ideas were like a shop vac to suck it out. My best idea was an air compressor to blow out the pieces just so we could get to the bolt underneath it and get the spark plug out. Couldn't do it though. Like it didn't have anything to get it out. I was in there with screwdrivers, all kinds of stuff. And it's down like a 6-inch, 1.5-inch diameter shaft. It's really hard to see at the bottom of it. I'm so glad Joel's not here to make a joke about that because I feel like he could have.
He'd just be giggling this entire time.
Yeah,
like,
he doesn't know anything about it.
So here's where the story comes in. Here's where the story comes in. So we called around and there was an Advance Auto that had a coil pack. So we were going to be able to replace it. But we couldn't get the old spark plug out. And I noticed if I stuck a screwdriver in there, it was wiggling around. Like the threads were bad, or it had come out of the threads or something. Like it had worked its way kind of loose. I was like, huh. Because if I had an air compressor, we could blow the chunks out. Air pressure works on both ends. So we got in and cranked the car, and it fired, like it turned over, and like the pistons went up and down, and boom, shot the spark plug. It bounced off the hood and like barely missed Mason. He started screaming, "No, wait!" Just went boom. Cylinder clear. Got it all out in like a 1.5 seconds.
That's like doing surgery on a patient that's like live, and you're like, man, I didn't get the blood flowing again. Punch.
Unfortunately, the story does not have a happy ending. We got a new spark plug and a new coil pack, but the threads are completely stripped out and messed up. You just stick a spark plug in there, it just spins. So, so what I did, you would think a normal person would be like, we're going to need to tow this. Nope. Mason was like, could I get it home? I was like, sure, buddy.
What?
So I stuck the broken coil pack back in, put the bolt in, clamped it down, put the cover over that, clamped that, like bolted all that back down to hold the air pressure in, started it up, drove it home.
How did it run at that point?
Well, here's the thing. We don't know how long he was running on 3 cylinders because he said it had been running a little rough for a while.
Which probably means at least 6 months with Mason, right?
No, probably like a couple weeks because he's been by recently and I don't remember it. I've driven it a few times to determine what's wrong with different things that are wrong with it. And I don't remember it running quite this rough, but it was like stalling out at, stalling out at stoplights, turns, low speeds, things like that.
If you looked at it wrong, if you didn't look at it right.
Can I dare ask how he passed inspection?
Well, here's the thing. In the small town where we're from, it's more about who you know. I don't know how he passed it because his bumper came off in a storm, and I don't know how that happened. But he lost his corner lights.
I like to imagine it happened to like a high tide storm. Like it just carried it away.
Yeah, so his bumper came off, and when he put it back on, he was missing his corner lights. I remember him saying, I think he's gonna need like corner lights to pass inspection, but he did pass. And Ultra Grunt, I take offense to that. I am good at working on cars, okay? It's Mason's lack of funds / caring about his car that was the problem. I'm fastidious about my cars. I spend way too much money maintaining them. Anyway, welcome to Casual Shenanigans Gaming.
Actually, we could tie it into our first story.
We can?
Actually, we can tie it into our second story.
What's our second story? Hold on. Bringing up the doc. Oh yeah, we could tie it into our news. We'll wait because that's very minor news. I want to get to.
It's all relevant.
It is relevant.
We gotta make that whole story relevant.
Actually, you know what? Since Joel's not here doing the Joel's here not doing like the time codes, we'll just jump around a little bit, and everyone who reads the time codes will just be up a tree. So Project Cars has released its recommended system specifications. And while you think, wow, that's a lame thing to pass for news, Project Cars is a gorgeous looking game if you haven't seen it. It's going to be a car sim coming out, multi-platform release coming out in a couple months, like a month and a half.
It's gone gold, apparently.
It has gone gold. It was delayed a couple times, but it looks like it's about ready to go. And
thanks, Drive Club.
okay, no, I rented Drive Club from GameFly and tried it. Within 20 minutes, I turned it off and went back to Forza. There was just nothing there. Like, it's a pretty game, but it's too arcadey. Like, the handling is just, you throw it into a corner, it just goes through it. It's like playing Need for Speed without any cops or other obstacles. Like, it's like Need for Speed when you're just driving on the track.
That sounds exciting.
Anyway, minimum specs for Project Cars. This is a significant story because Project Cars is so beautiful. People are thinking, like, this is going to bring systems to their knees. Maybe not. The minimum spec is a Core 2 Quad Q8400. That is an old processor. That's
ancient.
That's like a 2007 processor, or a 3 gigahertz Phenom X4 940. Also a very old processor. I had a Q6600 as my first gaming processor, and I built quite a few builds for friends that had 965s and 940s in them. Those are old things and not very fast. Yeah. Graphics, a GTX 260. Or a Radeon 5770. You need 4 gigs of RAM and 1 gig of VRAM. Now, recommended specs. Not that that really means anything either. 3.5 gigahertz i7 3700, which is not a processor. Maybe the 3700 series, maybe. Or an FX 8350. Graphics, GT600 series or HD 7000 series, which is another reason why recommended specs don't mean anything anymore. Like, the GT600 series includes the 680 and the GT620, which, like, can't play anything. So
it's good at flash games.
Yeah, like, and they recommend 8 gigs of RAM, 2 gigs of VRAM.
I can decode video, yay.
But only 1080p, nothing higher.
Now, this is one of those games you'll probably want to play at 60 FPS, and I believe, who put the note in there about the PS4? The PS4 is going to be running it at 60 FPS?
It was not me.
Really? Who typed that in there? Probably Joel.
I'm going to guess Joel.
Consider that an unsubstantiated rumor, but it wouldn't surprise me that they're going to be trying to run it at 60 FPS. So I look forward to trying this out on the Potato Masher because it is a very, very pretty game. And it drives really well, too. So if you're in the mood for Sims, keep an eye out for Project Cars coming soon to the Potato Masher.
Apparently, they are going to get 60p.
60 FPS?
60 FPS.
900p?
1080p for PS4, 900p for Xbox One.
That's surprising. That's that's a rare game to run at 1080p 60 FPS.
And up to 12K on the PC.
Holy crap. You like a few of those Alienware curved screens and just stack them.
That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome to have like the entire driving experience around you. 4K monitors.
People have done setups like that, like at CES and stuff, to try out. Man, that'd be those 40-inch Philips 4K monitors. You heard of those? It's like $850.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
an IPS. It's
That's one of those things. I don't want to ever see that in person because I won't be able to forget about it.
I don't know. You saw my 4K monitor in person, and you haven't gone nuts yet.
Well, I'm at 1440p, which is, it's still a significant step below that.
Yeah.
But it's also a significant step above 1080p. And
That's
also,
true.
For me, I like the ultra sliders versus resolution alone. So
yeah. We'll come back to our single other news item. Tonight's going to be a little bit of a shorter podcast. We are going to be playing Grand Theft Auto 5 after the podcast.
If everything works.
If everything works.
I haven't tried to stream this yet.
And you can come play with us if you join our crew, which was going to be called Casual Shenanigans Gaming or the Filthy Casuals, but casual is a blocked word on the Rockstar name thing, which it really surprised us. Like Rockstar blocks, like Rockstar has a sensitive word filter.
Yeah, it's not dirty enough, Jeremiah.
Yeah, in like the hooker killing simulator 2015, you can't use the word casual because somebody might get offended.
Yeah, what is casual? Is supposed to talk about casual sex or something? Like what?
I really can't.
In what circumstance? So
maybe people use it as an insult, but that's a terrible insult. Like calling someone a filthy casual as like a serious insult is terrible.
So if you want to play with us, you need to look up a crew called the Seal Slappers, because that's all we could get through the filter.
Yeah, that gets through.
So come play with the Seal Slappers. It should be a public. our 4-digit tag is CSGA, like Casual Shenanigans. Yeah.
Wait a minute. You couldn't do just CS.
No, it has to be for CS Gaming I could, but there's other stuff like that's Counter-Strike. You don't do
that's true.
CS has a stigma. So the seal slappers it is. And come play with us if you want to.
And for all you guys in the chat, I think you're going to download all 60 gigs before we play. This is like the Arma 3 mod packs all over again. Like, guys, this has got 20 gigs left.
It's not downloading it. It's downloading it and letting it decompress and expand all the files. When you told me that it expanded to like 98 gigs during the install, I looked at the potato masher and it downloaded 60 gigs and it had like 7 gigs free because I hadn't cleaned it up in a while. And it was in the middle of decompressing. I was like, oh no. I started deleting games I was thinking about trying out. I was like, Total War, gone. Counter-Strike, gone. BioShock, gone.
Dave, you made a good choice getting a bigger SSD. Holy cow.
Yeah, really.
Well, let's just go ahead and ease into our first topic. Grand Theft Auto 5 came out this week. Gosh, I bet no one knew that was going to be talked about tonight. So let's
Use the tricks in the chat suggest
slap a seal Team 6. Wow.
That's really good. Sorry, go ahead.
That's pretty good, Bez. Anyway, GTA 5 came out this week on the PC after a year and a half of being out on the last gen consoles and about 4 months of being out on current gen consoles. And we're just going to talk about it. We have something else to talk about after this. It's kind of our main topic, but let's just talk about GTA 5's launch. Overall, it went pretty well. They were smart by letting people preload. They did mess up. They messed up a little bit. There was a day one patch, which was only like, it ranged from I think 50 megs to 300 megs, depending on your setup. But there were so many people trying to get it. The Rockstar servers went down and had trouble authenticating people and were locking people out and a bunch of other stuff. There was also some issues with Rockstar social clubs not accepting logins with people if they had certain characters in their names. And they're supposedly working on that. There were a couple issues with the drivers, but that happens with all big game releases.
The game's a little bit unstable too, just a tiny bit unstable.
Not for most people, actually. It's
crashing your desktop is relatively common.
No, for a very, again, when you're looking at issues on the internet,
yes, that's true.
The minority is very well represented. Across the board, no, it's been pretty stable, but some people, certain hardware configurations have been a touch unstable. They think it's the drivers, the graphics drivers, have been causing some crashes.
And there's also an issue with almost every laptop that has an NVIDIA
an integrated graphics card. Apparently, the Rockstar Social Club launcher does not handle integrated graphics cards that well, which is a very specific. Yeah, that's a weirdly specific problem.
It's the laptops that have both. What you had to do to get into the game was disable your dedicated card in your laptop, so it's only your integrated graphics. Launch the launcher, launch the game on integrated graphics, then re-enable your graphics card in the device manager and let it activate to play the game.
Now, and the biggest problem, this is going to tie into our main topic, but for now I'm just going to hint at it a little bit. That little teaser for you guys. When people had issues, you would think, okay, no problem. Look for answers online. There are a lot of helpful Reddit threads and other things. Or contact customer support. Herein lies the problem. Both Steam and Rockstar do not have live customer support with like a chat thing you can do, live chat, or a phone number you can call. They don't have it.
Nope.
You have to, if you go to the Steam support forums, you have to create a separate support account. Did you know that? You can't just...
I did not know that.
Yeah, you have to create a Steam support account, and they really want you to look through all their forums. They make it hard to even submit a ticket.
I have seen that before. Like, you have to dig through a lot of like, will this solve your issue? Are you sure it doesn't? Are you really sure?
Why don't you ask the community? It's like, really? Google wasn't my first stop? Which is important to think about. Like, Steam gets not a free pass by a lot of gamers, but gamers love Steam. PC gamers love Steam for many good reasons. Steam does a lot of things really, really well. Customer support, maybe not one of them. But Rockstar... All right, I had an issue, and it doesn't really matter what the issue was. I mean, it was a fairly minor issue that no, it wasn't a minor issue. I'm just going to talk about it. Okay.
Yeah, it's a big issue. Talk about it.
It's a big issue.
Into detail.
So I go to launch the game, and it goes, sign into your Rockstar Social Club account. I was like, okay. So I signed into the one that I used on the PS3 and the PS4, because I've got like $750,000 and a couple houses and, some cars and stuff on my account. I'm like, I want to take that character with me. Plus the name of it is JERMgaming. So like that would make sense. So I signed into that and they were like, hey, all right, so cool. This is your account, right? I was like, yep. You want to activate the game on this account? it's going to tie it to this account. I was like, yep, no, that's fine. Click activate. All right, cool. Let's play. And then it goes, oh, no, you can't play because you have a Steam account already linked to a different Rockstar Social Club account. So you got to use that one. I was like, oh, okay. So I hit back and try to log in. And I try to log in. It goes, yeah, but you already used your CD key. I was like, yeah, but I can't use that one. And like, nope, it activated it. It activated it on an account tied to a Steam account, or it activated it on a Rockstar Social Club account that when knowing that this game was bought on a Steam account, which was tied to a different account, and Rockstar knows that that's apparently a permanent link and cannot be undone, and none of this was mentioned to me before I signed in.
That is awful programming. The fact that to do a CD key check, it has to link it before it checks it, that is an awful system.
Yeah, well, I mean, maybe it just didn't check it. I don't know if it has to do it that way. It just didn't. Like, I'm assuming it's not supposed to work that way. Maybe I'm like a 0.02% hole in the system or something, but I fell through it, and I couldn't play it, so I submitted a support ticket. We are currently at 73 hours into that support ticket, and it has not been addressed.
Is this Rockstar or Steam?
Rockstar support ticket. Okay. I got around it, though. I borrowed Mark's account to record footage for the Potato Masher video coming next week, to be teased later in the podcast. I borrowed his account, so I was able to record everything. And then last night I was reading, and someone was like, you can get no-fault refunds through Steam if you haven't really played the game yet. And I was like, oh, really? There's a backdoor way to get an instant refund through Steam. It goes into a Steam wallet. It does not go into actual money. But I got an instant refund and bought the game again using my Steam wallet funds. Took 5 minutes, and I was back up and running on a different CD key. Now, it means I don't get the pre-order bonus of all the like $1.5 million of extra money.
Which is pretty nice.
But we have a new ongoing segment of the podcast, JERMgaming's Rockstar Support Ticket Watch. Every week, we'll check in and see if they've addressed the ticket yet. I'm leaving the ticket open. I don't feel bad about doing that. Like, someone's going to get to it. And ask,
issue.
They're going to say, do you still need help? I'll say, no. They'll close it and move on. It'll be an easy ticket for them. So I'm going to leave it open because I'm curious to see if they ever get around to it. I've never heard of a 72-hour wait on a support ticket. And I feel a little bit bad for them because they've been drowned.
Obviously never worked for the government.
Oh, they don't count. When it comes to like customer support, the government does not count at all because they don't have any customer service.
I had like a 7-month heat ticket. I just got an email like last week.
Oh, jeez.
Like, are you still interested in this? Like, sure. Why not?
I guess.
Like thinking like, what was that?
Yeah, so that's kind of a big issue, and that's going to be our main topic. But before we get to that, let's go back to talking about, was the wait worth it? Does the game work? And it appears, from looking at everyone talking about it online, looking at people's system specs and stuff, this is a really good version of the game.
Yeah, it's a solid port. Although I wanted to actually address one thing about the crashing that I got, and it's related to your support issues. And that's my first night. I was getting crashing like every 8 to 10 minutes. Like, it was crashing constantly. I couldn't even get out of like the city. It was crashing so much. So I spent most of my first night in the editor, which wasn't crashing nearly as often. And I did some Googling. There were no support tickets that I could find with the similar issues. Occasionally I see someone's post in like the Steam forums like, hey guys, I'm getting a lot of crashes, and like it would disappear in like the tons of threads about people posting like GTA 5 giveaways and I'm lost in this area and help me do this thing, like just unrelated non-support stuff. I couldn't find any actual information to help me. I couldn't even find the Rockstar ticket like area like that you found to put a ticket in. Mm-hmm. So I just put a tweet out, and I was just like, is anybody else crashing? And I just went to bed, and the next day someone's like, yeah, I turned off Shadowplay and DxTory, and the crashing stopped. And I was like, oh, I'll try that. And that fixed it for me. It's Shadowplay and DxTory incompatibilities, apparently. But like the idea that I just turned to Twitter, and it was like a faster response. Like I had an answer in 5 hours after I'd gone to bed. I woke up the next morning, and there's my answer, how to fix it right there.
Interestingly, I was also encountering some crashes. So I turned off Fraps. I tried Fraps, DxTory, MSI Afterburner, and the Steam built-in frame rate overlay. I was still getting crashes. It turns out our overclock we have on the Potato Masher's video card has been perfectly stable up till now, but apparently in GTA it pushed it in a certain way it didn't like, and it was crashing. It was giving me a direct 3D init error.
Yes. Yeah, I had that once on an overclock too for the graphics card.
Well, I didn't get it when I turned Fraps off. When I was running no frame rate thing, it wouldn't crash. But otherwise, like you said, it would crash every 10 minutes. So I just backed the overclock down. It's been fine. I'm running like a medium, like an 80 megahertz on the core, 200 megahertz on the memory overclock. Not a super aggressive one. Yeah, it appears to be a really well optimized game. Now, there's been a lot of confusion going around about what optimization means online. A lot of people seem to think optimization means it runs great on my system. That's not what optimization means, because there are people running this game on really crappy PCs, which is good. People can run it on really crappy PCs. But optimization means there are no bottlenecks as a result of the game's code itself. If you have a fast system, it runs fast. If you have a slow system, it runs slow, but you can still play it. That's the idea behind optimization. The better your system is, the better of an experience you get, and it's linear and progressive for everybody. I'm going to drop in the Twitch chat, and if you're not watching on Twitch, then you won't see this, but there's an image floating around of various sites have been testing this. Game GPU is one. They tested like 25 different graphics cards, and it's an extremely linear performance progression.
That's exactly the kind of graph you want to see for a game.
Yeah, it's very good.
That's really good. Yeah.
Basically, for those of you who can't see it, like all the people listening on audio, it's a directly linear progression until you get to 970 SLI, 980 SLI, R9 295X2. Like when you get to the SLI and Crossfire versions of the highest end cards in the market, it kind of peters out around 135 frames per second, which is pretty stinking good.
Yeah, all the SLI and Crossfire just does really, really well, it looks like.
Yeah.
Just consistently, all of them just do great.
But the game appears to scale really, really well. The only thing it does not handle well is it does require over a gig of video memory if you want to have a good experience. You're going to need over a gig. 2 gigs you can run pretty well at. But I'd say 2 gigs is the comfortable minimum, which for a game that massive, that's pretty understandable. But the game runs really well and looks great. It was nice reading about the Rockstar developers talking about it, the art team. They said they don't even consider this really a port because they've been developing it the whole time. These are like their original assets. This is what they originally wanted the game to look like, and they had to dumb it down so much to go on the Xbox 360 and then dumb it down a little bit to go on the PS4 and Xbox One. So the PC version is them kind of turning it loose and going, hey, this is how good it can look. This is how amazing everything can be. And that's the nice thing about it. It's well optimized, which means if you come back to it in 3 or 4 years and you have a much faster computer, better graphics cards come out and stuff, you can experience it at like even better,
Yeah.
Like right now,
unlike GTA 4.
Unlike GTA 4, which
I
runs
returned to
terrible
GTA 4
forever.
recently, and it still runs at 42 FPS. Like, it does not matter.
Yeah, it
Even running what are you running?
Oh, you don't know about my computer? It's got this the CPU where it's got what did Joel call it? It's got a 12 CPU core.
example, like most people can run 1080p with most of the settings on pretty high. If you have like a GTX 770 or higher, you're pretty much set. But there's certain settings like ultra grass and extreme long distance visual scaling. Some of the higher end effect stuff is very, very demanding. And James, your video just went out, by the way. Was that intentional?
Yeah, be right back.
Okay, no problem. So there's a lot of that stuff that is very hard to run for a lot of people right now to run at the highest settings. So that's stuff you can come back in a year, 2 years, 3 years and see how amazing it looks, and it should be really awesome. Me personally, I'm playing at 4K and I wanted 60 FPS because I've already played the game at 20 to 25 FPS on the PS3 and 30 on the PS4. So I'm having to run the game on medium right now to get 4K at 60 FPS. But medium at 4K looks really stinking good. Like, I'm not looking at it going, oh, man, this sucks. Like, no, it's a gorgeous game. Dave, what's your experience? You're playing at 1440p with a 970? 980.
And actually, the 980 is not far and above the 970 as far as GTA 5 goes. It's a bit better. It overclocks a little bit better. But, yeah, honestly, the game looks fantastic. For me, one of the most exciting things besides the resolution was being able to crank all the pedestrian and traffic sliders all the way up. Have you done that yet for yours?
Yes. Oh, yeah. I had them up the whole time.
It doesn't really affect frame rate much. I think it's more of like a memory and CPU overhead for the density of traffic and pedestrians. But even at max, like, honestly, I don't think it feels as dense as GTA 4 did as far as traffic and pedestrians go because the world is so much bigger than GTA 4. Mm-hmm. But it really helps the experience to have all those sliders at max and having just a lot more pedestrians and cars compared to the console versions. As far as the game's visuals, for me, it's a really interesting, like almost paradox where the game looks beautiful. The lighting especially they have their visual style so well selected. Like the amount of screenshot moments. I know that Purdue on Twitter has been going crazy with just some beautiful, beautiful screenshots that look like he's actually doing city photography. They have their art style locked down so well. If you step back and look at the game from a technical perspective, it still, in my opinion, looks very much like a GTA game. This is not the next Crysis. It's not The Witcher 3. I don't think it even has like a Bloodborne level of detail to it, but they knew what they were working with, and this is by far the best looking GTA game I've ever seen, and I think it's going to age a lot better than GTA 4 did. It looks really good. Does that make sense? Like,
yeah, oh yeah, yeah. They've got one of their own style.
Yeah,
but it's a good. I mean, it's a good style. Like it was a little more cartoony in San Andreas, but I guess San Andreas was the last really cartoony one. 4 was them going kind of more serious, but it still has like a little bit of an over the top feel to it, like just a little bit cartoony. And I'd say 4 or 5 definitely kept up with that.
And, you know, I think the paradox also comes into looking at some of the individual assets. You still have some like all the mirrors in the cars are like very polygonal on the edges, and they don't have any kind of mirror texture. Like a lot of the mirrors in the cars, if you go into first person, are like just like a smeared texture, like just kind of a blurry fake reflection thing. But on the other hand, now they've gone this extra mile where on the next gen consoles, they added the first person perspective with this really nice interior. Now on PC, that interior has high resolution textures and like all the dials work and everything. So like you have this really high res dash system and all, and interior to the car. They kind of contrast with the other like lower res elements that are around you in the world, like the mirrors and stuff like that. So it's kind of a contrast where it still looks like a GTA game, but yeah, like I said, it's definitely the best looking GTA game in a very convincing world. It's awesome.
I have to say, when they switched to first person, like I think that drastically changed the look for me.
It does.
Even when you're playing on the beach trip, it was like, wow. I mean, I could kind of actually picture being on that street.
Yeah, it's weird because like it feels so much more immersive. I guess because the camera pulls back so far in GTA most of the time, you don't think about it. But when you're in first person, like the explosions and the gunfights and everything, like they feel really cool. Like I don't know. I wonder how long they've been wanting to do that.
I know, right?
Because like it works pretty well.
It was kind of out of the middle of nowhere. It was just like, oh, by the way, we're doing first person.
No one expected that, yeah.
And the world rejoiced.
Now, it wasn't just like the mod for GTA 4 where it was like there's mods on PC where they added first person perspective. It's like we're going to go back and rework all these car assets to like get ready for first person, so like it actually fits in, and then like you're not just looking at this super blurry dash texture. Yeah. They went the extra mile.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
Like Daisy, where you can like look down your own neck.
It's still in development. That probably won't be fixed. Other positive things I've noticed. It loads way faster than the console version. And I'm playing on a mechanical drive. I don't even have it on an SSD.
Really?
Yeah, and it loads, like, it gets into the game. Like, I have to restart the game to apply a lot of the graphic settings. And I can restart the game in well under a minute, like 30, 45 seconds. And, like, loading into online pretty fast. Like, I'm getting in under a minute. And on the console, it was easily, I wait, like, 3 or 4 minutes every time. Getting into events is much, much quicker. Like, it's not instantaneous, but it's a quarter to a third of the time I'm waiting on the PS4. And I don't know what type of magic they're doing. I don't know if you noticed this, Dave. Have you played many events in online? James, you don't have it yet, do you?
I haven't played online yet at all, actually. I just created my character.
Okay, in online, see, the way it works on the PS4 and the PS3 is when you want to join like a thing online, you have to invite other people from your server to join your particular match that you're playing in. Like, you're in a server with a bunch of people, but you have to invite them to join your mission. I think they might be pulling people from other servers, or the person count on the servers is so high. Every mission I joined instantly was almost full. And
that's awesome.
And there's dozens of them across the map. It can't be everyone just happens to play the same stuff I'm playing. So I wonder if they're pulling people, like if they're dropping you into an instanced session with a bunch of other people who want to play that mission across the world, because things were instantly full, which was a major gripe on the PS4 I had, was there was so many times I'd be playing a 16-person race with 3 people just because no one wanted to play.
And Joel was complaining about that too, especially because the game has so many different things you can do. If it's only matchmaking in your server and there's 32 different things to pick, like you've got to wait for a certain number of people in that server to pick that same thing, right? On the consoles?
Yeah. And you can invite them. You can invite them, but they have to accept. And it was very hard to get a lot of people to play with you. But I think they're doing instant sessions, and I don't know for sure. I want to do some research about it. But I had no problem getting like completely full instances to play with people of like 16-person sessions in 30 seconds or less. Like it was really, really
That's
awesome. Yeah, it was cool. So I really, really like that. In online, you do have to turn your visual settings down a little bit just because of the added latency that comes with playing online with that many other people. I mean, come on, you're playing in Los Santos with like 64 other people cruising around, or 32 or however many there are. There's going to be like a few compromises you have to make. But it's pretty dang impressive. Like I'm pretty fed up with their customer service, but the game launch, I'd have to say I'm pretty impressed by everything they did. Like I think it was worth the wait. They did it right.
Speaking of the latency, watching some of Skinner Barclay's videos, it's some of the least amount of latency I've ever seen in a like MMO style game. He's playing from Ireland with people from like South Africa and the US all at the same time, and from his perspective, like there's no desync. It's just everything works. The ragdolls work, the physics work, the driving works, and you know Battlefield can barely pull it off in a smaller maps with you know awful car physics. It's impressive. I think it definitely is. And actually, can I wax poetic for a minute about the video editor? Because
oh, go ahead, Dave.
Let me just get my breathing exercises on here. So my first night with all the crashing, I dove into the video editing system. Just recorded some gameplay in between crashes, basically. Their video editing tool, you're basically recording in-game replay, where instead of saving a video file, it saves all the coordinates and positions and animations that play around you as you're doing whatever in the world. And then you load that replay back in real time in the engine. And then you can scrub the timer back and forth, and the game like replays, rewinds, all the action that happened. You can place free cameras, zoom in, you can add effects and like camera shake and dialogue and all this other stuff. So just with your recording of the game world, just dropping a camera into just running around like robbing an armored truck, you start zooming in on the detail of the world, the way that people react and stuff like that. It's wild just what you can do just recording normal gameplay. But then there's also a director mode where you can unlock different characters to play as. You can play as like cops, pedestrians, just about anybody. Pick an area of the map, choose time of day, turn on God mode, turn off the wanted level. You can like do emotes, like the actual, like if you're playing as a cop, you can choose like the angry cop dialogue. You can like flick people off. You can do just about anything. The movies and machinima that we're going to see from this editor, it could get real. It's honestly, it's a little scary. If you guys don't see me for a while, just maybe have my Steam account deactivated so I come up for air.
That's what Dave said. This is like going to be the end of him, and that's what I kind of said in return was this is how he would have wanted it to go. Like it's for the best. I'll
die happy, but if you guys don't hear from me, please just send help.
Just wait till you can combine that with mods.
As soon as there's a multiplayer cops and robbers mod, like how wild
you mean like Battlefield Hardline?
oh man. No, I want a good one though.
Oh, you want a good mod?
He doesn't want something so derivative. He wants it, a little fresher.
It's a little unfair, but it's an easy.
Is it though?
I'm enjoying Hardline.
Really? How much have you played recently?
I haven't played since Sunday, so there's that.
When's the last time you played before them?
I played 3 hours of the campaign on Sunday. I'm enjoying it. It's a solid 7.5-ish. It's that's not bad. It's just not. It's not anything incredible or groundbreaking. It's just kind of there. I still talk about Hardline though.
Just kind of there.
I'm gonna be both unsurprised and very happy if we see a multiplayer cop mod that does better than All Points Bulletins or All Points Bulletin, the Cops and Robber MMO that crashed and burned so badly years back that I was so excited to be in the beta for back in the day. I can see a mod, possibly even LCPD First Response, that team doing a mod for GTA 5 that could surpass that game very easily, and I can see myself sinking 10 times the amount of hours into that I do the main campaign and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So that's my hopes and dreams for modding. Is just a cop mod. That's all I want.
And so speaking of modding is not officially supported, but it wasn't in GTA 4, and there were plenty of amazing mods for GTA 4. People just have to pull apart the files, unpack stuff, and figure out how to reverse engineer it. Mods are definitely going to happen.
That's actually why I'm excited, was because the cop mod for GTA 4 had the script system where you could do like traffic stops and all that stuff. And then the latest version, from what I've heard, they got it working in multiplayer too, in GTA 4. Good things are coming, guys.
But our main topic is customer service.
Yes.
Steam and Rockstar, major industry-leading companies in their respective fields, both with abysmal customer service. What do you think is the responsibility of a company during a launch like this? Like, do they have a responsibility for customer service? What is it? Like, it's easy to say, well, they should just handle all my problems. Yeah, but like, you know, when millions of people are buying something in one day, that's unrealistic. And we understand that.
Yeah.
What should be expected of these companies? Because I think we can agree, based on the customer service this week, they haven't done an amazing job this week.
I'm going to go ahead and throw out the fact that Origin has instant chat support that, while frequently completely does not understand what you're asking them, at least it's there and you can try like a second person within 10 minutes.
Instant Indian or English as a second language chat support.
Yeah, basically.
You're the Joel of this week.
No, they're India is probably where most of that tech support is. That's
it's just reality.
it's not racist when it's the truth. Yeah, my Indian friend I talked to on Origin.
My Indian chat friend.
My Indian friend Steve.
Yeah, the names are always great. I've had to use Origin chat support probably 3 or 4 times, and the wait time is usually short. And I have gotten one of the reps who just really was not helpful at all. I closed the chat, did it again, and in 5 minutes, someone else is solving the issue. So if Origin can do it with EA's reputation, Steam, you have no excuse.
That's the bad thing about Origin is some things they do so well. Download speeds, like Steam's pretty good, but Origin, everyone gets their max download speed on Origin. Origin makes you download things faster than you're paying for. That's good.
Your modem like just squeals in anguish, like little bit of smoke comes up the back.
And Origin, they also have a pretty good refund system too, I believe. They have a good refund system, and you can talk to actual people. Like, there's things that Origin does surprisingly well. Things it does poorly. Really only sells EA games.
Well,
so
I think
that's a problem.
That's kind of the point, though.
I know.
Being able to offer any customer services, since it's just their games, they only have a limited number of variables to work with.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, it could be a lot worse. Let's look at Uplay. It brings nothing to the table besides extra DRM. Or Rockstar
Uplay is the equivalent of, Cousin Nico, want to go bowling? It's like, did you know you can get wallpaper in store for playing? No, let me play the game. Did you know you can buy a key to unlock this? No, let me play. You can't turn off the in-game display, even though that messes things up. You need to leave it on because it
tells you when you get more points for wallpapers.
Better. Every time I try to launch Far Cry 4, it's like your playing experience will be severely compromised without the on-screen display. And I'm like, yeah, click.
Oh no! I want that experience, please. The lesser one, according to you.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Ubisoft has had a rough couple of years for launches.
They make some really great games.
Eventually.
And they make some really, really stupid PR, customer service, development, social interaction decisions. Basically everything except the physical game. They do some really crappy stuff.
What was that like 2-month period where in the middle of all the awful Ubisoft launches, was it late November, early December, where they had a bunch of awful game launches, and then like their marketing people were saying the dumbest stuff like we want better quality pixels. It's like resolution doesn't matter, frame rate doesn't matter. We want better quality pixels. It was like a 2-month period where it's like every day, like you just wake up in the morning, just crack your knuckles, like, all right, let's get my daily dose of Ubisoft.
It's like Retina, guys. It's Retina.
It's like the Battlefield Hardline Twitter. It's so bad, but you can't look away.
I unsubscribed.
Oh,
Dave hit the breaking point.
But yeah, customer service, James. Like, what do you think? What is a company? What are you entitled to as a consumer?
Ooh, entitlements.
I'm entitled to everything. No, it's hard for someone like Steam, I think, because I can't imagine the kind of calls they would get every day if they did have a phone number to call. Mm-hmm. I mean, because they're just servicing, other people's games. I can't imagine.
Yeah, but Microsoft has a phone number. Think who uses Microsoft's products. everybody.
That's true.
Yeah,
Microsoft can call it pretty quickly.
But look at the amount of money you spend on Microsoft generally. A lot of that has some built-in support, and they can actually
$26.
they can actually charge you for customer support too.
They can. That's true. That's true.
a good point. Yeah.
Steam obviously would never get away with that. But I think with Steam, other than making sure people can log in, making sure their purchases show up in their account, or migration and stuff like that, I don't think they should really have to offer any other support.
So
now Rockstar, on the other hand.
Well, no, let me give you an example. So I bought, what was it? Knights of the Old Republic. Will not launch properly on my computer because it's too old, I guess.
Right. But it does give recommended specs.
It does, but I exceed the recommended specs, and there's no check from Steam. Steam doesn't give you any indication it won't work. Or, easier example, some of the old Fallout games I got in a Humble Bundle, like the original Fallout games, they do not work on my computer, period. Will not even start. And looking online, that's a common problem, but Steam still sold them. Shouldn't I be able to talk to someone at Steam, or should I not? Is it my fault for not knowing?
Well, I mean, but here's the hard thing about Steam. You can have Steam on multiple computers. So you might have one set up where they can look at your specs and say, your game isn't compatible with this. But if you run it on another computer that has Windows 7 or something older, I mean...
So you think the responsibility is the same as it is for... Well, one of the negatives about PC gaming, you have to do a little more legwork to play the game.
Right, you have to do your research to make sure it's going to be compatible, if it's an older game especially.
I don't know, though, because I'm going to lay that one on Steam 100%. If you get the GOG.com copies of the Fallout games, which I have, they run just fine. It's the Steam copies that don't work.
Because the Steam is just the original game kind of just dumped onto Steam, where the GOG copies are updated and remastered a little bit to work on new OSs?
They're on the newest patch, and then additionally, they're DRM free, no third layer of DRM. And also, I think they do tweak and they test. Whereas Steam, I think, just took the last retail patch for those games and just threw them on there with a buy button, from what I understand.
Well, see, the thing is, Steam, I don't see Steam as the perfect solution. I think they get a lot more praise than it's worth. Some of the GOG games that I bought, not only do they work better, but if you need to hack it to do widescreen or something like that, it's significantly easier than a Steam game.
Yeah, that's very true.
So
well, and that's kind of it's kind of easy to rag on Steam about that stuff, but they're doing volume like no one else. The issues you can have with Steam are the same issues you can have with Walmart. But Walmart exists because it turns out millions of people would like to pay super low prices for stuff, and they don't care if the customer support's bad. Steam's the same way. People will put up with a lot because wait till the sale comes around. You can pick up last year's blockbusters for $5.
I don't have to hold my nose to buy a game from Steam.
Ooh.
Now, I also don't feel the obligation to visit Steam while armed at all times.
I don't cry in my car after I've used Steam.
Now, James, you were saying about...
There are no people of Steam websites.
That's good.
Now, James, you were going to say something about Rockstar. What do you think Rockstar's responsibility is?
I think Rockstar has a little bit higher responsibility. I mean, as big as a company they are, I mean, they can build a little bit of customer support in the price of their product.
Here's the thing, though. I think it's already built into the price of their product. They've sold how many copies of their games? They've made the profit to do it. The thing is...
They've got slides of money they're going into.
Yeah, this is the negative side of capitalism. They don't have to give any customer support because they can re-release the PC port of a game that's 18 months old and sell 1 million copies on day one. GTA 5 on the console sold 11 million copies day one. They don't have to give you customer support, and that would cost a lot of money, so they didn't do it. There is obviously some customer support, but it can't be that great because 72 hours in, no one has addressed my support ticket, which I put in in the first 30 minutes of the game launching. It wasn't I can't... How many people can I be behind? 100,000? I don't know.
Jeremiah, they only made $60 million on day one, okay? They don't have time to deal with support tickets right now. They got to get more sales going first. They had to have that concrete foundation before they can turn to customer service.
I don't know. I can't imagine being on the customer support end at Rockstar after a massive launch like that.
Yeah.
It's a good point, James, because I was on those Steam forums on launch night trying to figure out my crashing issues, and like I was one of a few people that had like what I would call legitimate issues. The amount of just crap on there, people like having just the dumbest issues, weren't Googling, didn't know what they were doing. Like, yeah, wading through that would be a chore. But is that
I mean, Dave, imagine if you were all of a sudden asked to model, well, you probably like this, 300 buildings. Like, they just drop it on your lap. I mean, I imagine that's kind of the equivalent, or Jeremiah, if they just said, oh, by the way, you need to do like 30 photo shoots in the next 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. You'd be like, oh, okay.
Yeah, but here's the thing. If they told me a year and a half ahead of time, you're going to need to do 30 photo shoots in these 2 weeks, I would have people lined up. I'd have second shooters. I'd have other teams running. Like, when it rolled around and I was going to make that much money, say I was going to make $20,000. No, that wouldn't be enough for 30 photo shoots in 2 weeks. Say I was going to make like $100,000. I would have it down. It's not like Rockstar didn't see this coming. They had time to prepare, and they have the money to prepare.
Well, that's a problem with anything that ever launches, ever. Mm-hmm. Like, they're always like, oh, it's got to work. Please work. Please work.
Well, it's one thing like, oh, I hope the servers stay up. The servers, for the most part, did work. It wasn't the game crashing on day one so much. It was there was no one to talk to if something went wrong. Like, the game was pretty solid. It was... if you had an issue, and most of the issues were, surprise, surprise, with their mandatory DRM, Rockstar Social Club.
Yeah, they think
it's a feature.
Shoot themselves in the foot with that.
And
I mean, imagine when like H1Z1 launched. I mean, I'm sure they talked to their employees and said, "Oh, by the way, we're probably going to be working late nights quite a bit for the first couple weeks while we're ironing out stuff." Although I don't think they imagined they were going to be like staying up all night. Like, for a couple nights trying to get the servers working, like they did.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I don't think... I've never been part of a launch that was just, like, super silky smooth and everything was...
City skylines.
Yeah, okay, but that's a very low-key launch, and there's not a lot of online functionality to it.
They sold 200,000 copies on day one.
Okay,
yeah, but there's no online component.
There is. I mean, it uses the Steam backend and the Steam Workshop.
Right,
Workshop
but you're not trying to handle like Battlefield levels
servers.
Right, you're not trying to handle like Battlefield level stuff.
Yeah.
Call of Duty has a pretty smooth launch every year.
Well, they've gotten really good at it.
Yeah. Well, but yeah,
Titanfall.
Wouldn't you think Rockstar would be good at it by this point?
Well, they at least overhaul their stuff.
GTA Online was a travesty when it launched on the PS3 and Xbox 360. And it went decently well when they launched it on the PS4 and Xbox One, so they must have gotten their act together by then. And GTA Online worked great this time around, but it was other stuff that went wrong. It's not like this game came out for the first time. This is the third time they've released this game. I feel like, again, and paying $60, I'm not asking for the world. All I was asking for was someone to let me play it. That was all I wanted. I feel like that's pretty reasonable. You pay $60, they should at least like take your call. If they can't help you, you did something wrong, so be it. But if you meet the recommended system specs, like if you haven't done anything wrong, you just click the buy and install button in Steam. I think consumers have a reasonable expectation that the game should work. And the problem is, you can say, oh, well, vote with your wallet. You don't like they don't have customer support? Don't support them. It's Rockstar. It does not matter if I support them. And of course I'm going to support them. And this is the problem with this is that this is the third time I've bought GTA 5. Even with the problems, I will happily buy it because Grand Theft Auto is really stinking good. And that's how everyone else feels. Launch issues, yeah, but it's Grand Theft Auto. Like, people are going to play it. And that's to Rockstar's credit. They've built a game so good that people are willing to put up with Rockstar Social Club just to play it.
That's it. Yeah, I don't think I would accept Social Club from very few other products. Like, there's not many games that I would allow that. So,
speaking of which, join the Seal Slappers if you want to play GTA with Casual Shenanigans Gaming. The Seal Slappers.
I'm actually pretty excited about the mobile launch of GTA 5 because I feel like it's going to be flawless this time around.
In 10 years when it gets ported to the iPad, the iPad Air Retina HD. It is now time for the news. We only have one news item left because we already talked about Project Cars system requirements.
Nailed it.
EA is shutting down some free-to-play titles. They are shutting down Battlefield Heroes, Battlefield Play for Free, and Need for Speed World. 3 games which I had completely forgotten about. What about you guys?
I remember playing Battlefield Play for Free while waiting for more Battlefield 3 trailers to come out.
Mm-hmm. So it's a couple years old.
It came out in 2010. At the time, Battlefield 2 was 5 years old and was not running well. Mm-hmm. And like there wasn't another Battlefield, so it was Play for Free, which like was an updated version of 2 basically and stripped down. So that's
it was like it was like the arcade cartoony version of 2. I mean, it wasn't 2.
It launched from a browser.
Yeah.
That sums it up. Like not like Battlefield 3, 4, and Hardline, where like the browser is your server browser. Like the game launched from the browser. It was not great, but it filled a gap. It served its purpose.
Mm-hmm. And do you think it's no big deal they're shutting down now?
What do you guys think? I don't think any of these Play for Free games did what EA was hoping to. Like you see, like the Korean market, for instance, and in Russia, these free-to-play games that go crazy. I think they were hoping for that, and they saw not even close to that kind of profit from these.
Mm-hmm. In Russia, gameplay you.
I mean, EA kind of. I guess they were experimenting a little bit with some of their better known IPs, but whether it worked out or not, I'm sure they made some money from them, or they wouldn't have kept them up this long. And that's all there is to talk about it.
Well, I do have a thought that maybe we'll talk about it another time. Like the games that they pull the servers for, and then people try to create, their own servers and play the games through. A lot of companies are trying to squash that. We can talk about that some other time.
That's been in the news recently, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Which game was it they were doing that for? I guess talk about it later because I can't think of the game either. I know that Halo Online, which was released recently as like a Russia-only title, has been modded basically to run on different servers, so U.S. and European players can play it. And Microsoft has been sending takedown notices left and right for that. But it's like, you don't offer this anywhere else. People want it. I mean, it's their IP, obviously, but there's a conflict there that I think they're not responding well to at all. It's not making them look good in any way.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good topic, though. We should line that up for next time, maybe.
Put it in the notes. 2 quick, really bits of news. Quick fire news. Star Wars Battlefront launching November 17th. All but guaranteed. Should be guaranteed tomorrow.
Did you guys see the screenshot for it today?
I did, or today. If you're listening to this as soon as the audio version drops.
The link.
Drop
a link in the chat.
I'll paste it here in a minute.
I got it.
Okay.
There's links on this page.
The screenshot was so good. I loved how the environment artist, Dennis, actually had to confirm, like, no, that's not CGI, that's in-engine.
Oh, I was going to ask, that's in engine?
Yeah, Dennis confirmed on Twitter about a half an hour after the image leaked. He just posted a tweet that said, no, that's not CGI, is all he said. So
cool. And then the next bit of quick fire news. The Witcher 3 has gone gold.
Ah, that was going to be mine. Good call. Good call, sir.
What that means for anyone who doesn't know is it is feature complete now, or not just feature complete. It's been feature complete for a while, and they've just been bug fixing and testing and stuff. Going gold means they've submitted their final release for certification on the major consoles, and they're prepping a version to go to Steam and GOG and wherever else. Now, there will be a day one patch. They're going to keep working. Like, the bug team's going to work from now up until release, getting a day one patch ready. And that's not bad of them. A day one patch is not automatically a bad thing.
I mean, in the age of the internet, why would you have your QA team sit there for 4 weeks just twiddling their thumbs? It's just, it doesn't make any sense.
If they can make anything better, they would. And they already delayed the game to make everything smooth when it came out. So this is probably, it's a good thing. But yeah, it's gone gold. So they have a final release version going out. So it looks like it's going to happen. So that should be pretty good.
Did you see the article today about the combat on IGN?
No, I didn't see the IGN article. What did it say?
IGN's been posting spoilers. Warning to you guys. IGN apparently paid for some exclusive interviews and stuff, but a couple of these I've heard have major main campaign spoilers. They posted an article, James, the IGN did, about like the monsters in the game, and I'm glad I checked the Reddit comments first, because one of the first comments was like, why are they posting story spoilers in an article about the monsters in the game? Like, major spoilers.
See, I really care about that. I care a lot about the story of the Witcher universe, so for me, that's a big no. I'm not going anywhere near that.
But what were you saying, James, about the article that you had found?
I was just talking about how much deeper the combat is, essentially. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It sounds
having to
really good.
evade and stuff a lot more. I imagine a little bit more like, you have to do in like Bloodborne or something like that.
I want that. If it's anything like the Dark Souls series as far as the depth of combat, but in an open world, it'll get Joel too. I think at that point, really bad.
You need to learn how to like use two eyes like separately, like to play GTA over here and Witcher over here.
Well, like editing a video, making mod content over here,
Man.
City Skylines constantly in the background over here.
I can't wait for the cybernetic overlords to take us over.
It's going to be
multitask.
a rough year. There's too much to play. Like, I'm almost depressed in the best way possible. It's now time for the Singularity Shame segment, a part of the podcast where we highlight somebody who just needs to be smacked in the face a little bit, and we do it. For our audience of hundreds, Mortal Kombat X also came out on Tuesday. They made the wise decision to launch the same day as DayZ. GTA. Sorry.
Whoa, where did that? Hey guys, I know we were playing tonight. He said it. It's too late.
Dave's like, any excuse.
Don't worry, guys. We've been recording for 4 months. A new episode's going to go live by the end of the year, I promise.
Mortal Kombat X. A very landmark, legendary...
I'm enraptured.
How do you describe the Mortal Kombat series? When it comes to arcade fighter games, like...
It's one of the pillars. It's
a pillar. That's the best way to describe it. It's
I've
a
never
pillar.
played it before, and I know about it, so it's
a pillar in the fighting
really
community.
never played. You need to play some. At least
You can play some Mortal Kombat, Dave.
just never interested.
You
in
need to know
whatsoever.
anger. It's not about being interested. We need to bring it over so you can get super angry. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I've got Dark Souls for that, though, and Bloodborne.
Yeah, but in this, someone else can be beating you the entire time. But that's not. We don't have any issue with that. Mortal Kombat is always hard, and one of the hard parts in the game is you have to figure out the button combinations for the fatalities. The fatalities are the extremely over-the-top, excessively gory, violent ways you can kill someone once you've gotten their health low enough and stunned them, and it's one of the highlights of the series, and it's one thing that separates it from its T-rated brethren like Tekken, or Virtua Fighter, or Street Fighter. Mortal Kombat is bloody.
You're really showing your age.
Shut up, old man.
I'm just kidding.
You knew everything I was talking about. So yeah, you can buy 30 Easy Fatalities DLC for $5, which simplifies the fatalities to just a couple button presses. So instead of figuring them out, you can get 30 quick and easy fatalities for only $5 after buying a $60 game.
Got to be kidding me.
Nope. That's like saying you can buy 30 bombing runs in Arma or in Battlefield for only $5. Like,
Yeah,
not
like-
even Battlefield has stooped that low. They'll sell you battle packs so you can get, like, flamingo camo for your gun.
You're not wrong.
But not even them are like, all right, guys, come on, guys.
Wow.
Yeah, that's bad. Like, and it's not
Good
just...
shame segment. Very
If
good.
some fighting game did it, like some new fighting game, people are like, well, that's stupid. But, man, Mortal Kombat, like, again, I'm trying to think of a parallel. It would be like Battlefield doing a lot of the things Battlefield has done in the past couple of years.
But much worse, though. I'd say that's a whole different
It is
scale.
worse, yeah.
What actually downloads when you buy that DLC? Like, it's like a 1 kilobyte.
Yeah, downloadable content. I think it's really just a key you're unlocking somewhere. I don't think it downloads. It downloads a small patch, maybe. I don't know.
How long before people figure out how to just unlock it?
On the consoles, it probably won't happen. PC probably will figure it out. But the thing is, like, if it was free to play Mortal Kombat, no one would care. But this is a full price game. This is a $60 game. They are selling the finishing moves, easy access to the finishing moves. Now, I'm not a fan of making everything as hardcore as possible because games used to be that way, but that's a little too dumbed down. Like that, there's a line somewhere, and I feel
That's
like
just
that's crossed
literally
it.
paying to win. Literally paying to win.
No, I mean, well, they make the point in the article that it's not pay to win because
yeah.
you've already beat the person. This
Yeah,
is
once you
just
get a
kind of
fatality, you've already won.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
It's the finishing move, but it's the landmark of the series, and you're supposed to figure them out and stuff. And it's supposed to be hard to do.
It's like buying teabagging DLC for Halo. you get 10 new teabagging moves.
Actually, it's like setting macros for all of your complicated moves, like in an MMO. If that wasn't against the rules or something, so you just hit one button and like your first
the rules, they make you pay for it
in your first 5-minute build order. Exactly. It's exactly like that. So that's man.
That should have been nothing more than just a cheat code.
Yeah,
literally. Just
it used to be.
Code.
It would have used to, like back in the day. It would have been a cheat code, like easy fatalities.
I kind of miss the days of cartridges for that reason.
The cartridges, the Game Shark.
You get what you get.
And the book you could buy at Walmart that like had all the different cheat codes in it for all the different consoles.
Yeah,
them were the days. Games were broken, and you just put up with it forever because the internet wasn't real. All right, it's now time for the Potato Masher. We don't have a video this week, but we have been hard at work recording things. It's a group project.
We just cheer you on in the background.
Our participation includes watching it.
You guys provide feedback, which is very, very helpful. Anytime I'm stuck in a loop of staring at something for hours and hours.
You've got the internet for feedback, Jeremiah.
Not that type of feedback.
People will do that.
A giant crushing tidal wave of strange smelling feedback.
We have upgraded to an Elgato HD60. We had the Game Capture HD. We now have the HD60. All of our reviews going forwards will be in native 60 FPS recording, with the exception of Borderlands 2, because I already recorded all the footage for it before I got the HD60. So it'll be coming in a couple weeks. It will be in 30 FPS. But starting with Grand Theft Auto 5 next week, one of the most requested games on the Potato Masher, and a game that quite a few people have strongly insinuated wouldn't work. Right. Exactly. Well, Bloodborne on this, you idiots. You moron PC players.
Can I make my ARM emissions on the potato?
I'm actually really excited about that video.
About the GTA 5 video?
Yeah.
Without going into too much detail, I have recorded now 8 hours. Not 8 hours of footage, but I have recorded for 8 hours. And without spoiling too much, I've given Dave a little teaser because he wouldn't be able to stand waiting this long. Like, it wouldn't be fair to Dave. It'd be mean.
Give me specifications.
Next week's going to be good. That's all I got to say.
Next week's going to be smirk.
Did anybody write down our predictions?
We did. I wrote them down in the show notes last week. Some are met.
Did anybody win?
Some are met. Some aren't. Some might be exceeded. That's all I'm going to say. All I'm going to say, other than it's going to be good, tune in next week. GTA 5, Potato Masher. Very long video, most likely. It's probably going to be 10 minutes plus. Sorry, everybody. Yeah, look for that coming next week. It's now time for What Are You Playing This Week? Part of the podcast where we talk about the things we're playing this week. As the name would imply, I'm Pert Hapley. James, what have you been playing this week?
I don't even know why I bought it. I think I bought it part of a humble
James,
bundle,
you bought it,
which is pretty much every game.
You bought it because you're you.
What'd you buy? What'd you buy?
Murdered Soul Suspect.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
It's actually kind of, I played a couple hours. It's kind of fun. I like the whole walking around investigating, but it's kind of interesting doing the whole voyeuristic. Not to spoil after the first 5 minutes of the game, but you're a ghost spirit and you're trying to figure out your own personal murder, but then you get to solve other kind of like crimes and stuff.
I've heard it's good. I think that would interest me for sure.
It got pretty low scores, but I'm actually enjoying it. It's one of those games, like if you don't care if it's good or not, then you'll probably like it more when you actually play it.
Yeah, I've heard some of like the user reviews. Like if you're into that kind of thing, you really could get into it. So
I think you would like it, Dave.
I think I would, from what I saw of people's reviews of it. Not the press reviews, but the individual users.
Dave, what about you? What have you been playing? Or James, have you been playing anything else?
Yeah. What else you got?
We played DayZ this weekend, didn't we?
We did.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of which, they rolled back the loot system in a hotfix Wednesday. It was broken on about 30% of the servers, so they rolled it back till 0.56.
Yeah, Dave, and until you said, like, no more wipes, and then it was confirmed on Twitter, yeah, guys, we're going to wipe everything again. I just don't trust them anymore when it comes to stuff like that.
They're not wiping the characters, are they?
No.
They're wiping camps and stuff. persistence is getting wiped. They're like, everyone, pack your tents. It's all going away.
Yeah, that was like the whole thing. Jeremiah's like, yeah, now that we got persistence, let's do a tent.
Yeah.
Because Dave was like, this is it. No more wipes. No more wipes. We're good to go.
Jeremiah actually had a gleam in his eye to do this.
I actually said at the same time, though, I said, this isn't going to be the last wipe. This is the last weekly wipe. There wasn't a wipe for 3 weeks.
Right. But
and it's going to be wiped in a week.
I don't think it was even a week before they were doing another wipe, though. Like before they started talking about it.
It was 3 weeks, and then the next wipe is going to be 0.56 in the first week of May. So there's going to be another one in like 3.5 weeks again. So, it's part of the development process. When they're pulling modules in and out of the game, stuff's going to be broken for a bit longer, for sure.
Yeah.
But loot is now spawning again, at least.
Dave, what about you?
GTA 5, obviously, I'm still squeezing in city skylines wherever possible. Like, if I'm working on something like a Word document or a Photoshop image, like, cities is just open in the background. I'm building things. I've got a city that I've been working on now for, I think, 5 weeks on and off. Like, it's getting pretty large. I think it's 20-some tiles now.
Dave, this is a bad year for you. This is just...
Dude, I'm so screwed. Jeremiah, it's time to play Attila again, too.
It is. I was going to talk to you this week. We're like, when are we going to do it? Like, I don't know. Like, not.
When are we gonna get together and do it?
I don't want to complain, but I don't mean to complain, but like between editing the podcast and managing just casual shenanigans community stuff, which I know we don't do as many community events as we should, so it seems like what could there possibly be to do? There's a surprising amount of stuff that goes into keeping CSG stuff going, but the Potato Masher has greatly increased that. Right, and YouTube, and actually just gaming. Plus, like, I'm married and have a job that frequently requires nights and weekends and stuff.
Oh, crap, I'm married. I gotta
go. Like, with all that, like, this is such a good year for games so far. Like, right now, I'm desperately pretending like I'm playing Total War, City Skylines, GTA, Far Cry 4. I don't know if Far Cry 4 is going to get finished. I want to finish it so bad, but, like, I can't even think about getting there. I know it's really good. I'm enjoying it.
I know, right?
I was trying to beat both Witcher games before The Witcher 3 comes out.
I can't believe you tried that.
That's impossible. Dude. You have to start that like a year in advance.
Well, yeah. So here's what I'm doing. Like a week or two in, I hadn't been able to play it for like 4 days in a row because just stuff comes up. And I was like, yeah, this isn't looking good. I beat the first 2/5 of The Witcher 1. I just loaded up my old save games from like 6 years ago. I still had them. And I lost my Dark Souls 2 saves, but I still had that. And I just skimmed through a couple chapters. Like I played like another 3 or 4 hours just opening up saves that I remembered. I remember the story of that one really well. So it wasn't a big deal to open up a bunch of saves, play through a couple things, watch a video recap of that one. I was like, I'm good. I got everything. And now I'm playing The Witcher 2. I am going to try to beat The Witcher 2 before The Witcher 3 comes out because I only played through that once. And I chose one story. Like the game splits almost into 2 games at one point, and I played one way. I'm going to play the other this time. And now that I've read the books, like all the other stuff means a lot more. So should be, I'm not going to be able to get it done by 3 though. Definitely not.
I can't believe you tried. To be honest.
It was dumb. It was dumb.
And actually, I had one more like gigantic game to drop in my lap this week too. Is I've spent probably 8 or 9 hours this week on Arma 3 stuff. Not only just playing, I've probably just played 2 or 3 hours, but I've also been rebuilding our mod pack for an update. Should be ready by this weekend, probably even tomorrow. And I'm also working on my next like major mission in my Alistar Rebellion campaign. I just got to brag for a minute, Jeremiah. I was speaking this before the podcast. I have the paradrop working. Can I just set the scene for you? It's going to spoil it a little bit, but Arma 3 continues to just suck me in.
Go for it.
With no mercy. The mission's going to start with like a camera angle. It's like a foggy morning. It's about 4:30. The sun's about to crest the horizon. C-130 flies over like 100 meters off the ground, all 4 engines roaring. Then it cuts to the players. We're on the back of the C-130. Like, we're actually in all the benches. There's a loadmaster at the gate. The gate opens. You can see like the treetops down below. We end up like over the ocean, full speed. All of a sudden, the plane just pulls up, and like you're staring at the ocean out the back doors. It like just ramps up to like 400 meters, and then I have a script set up as we enter rebel-held territory, and like you see like all the fog and the trees down below. Out the back doors, we're like pulling up off the ocean. It actually spits us out the back of the aircraft, like ejects us in pairs with our parachutes. Like you don't even have to do anything. I'm gonna have a countdown, and we just go like pop, pop, pop. And so your squad lead, you're first. From your perspective, you just like fly out the back and you see the plane going, and then you see like pairs of us coming out the back, and it just like peels into the fog in the distance. And you look down below, there's flashlight patrols, there's like foggy forest, and you have to like land, meet up, gather your supplies, and head in for the attack. But I'm pretty proud of the C-130 like fly-in. It's pretty legit.
Were you on TeamSpeak the time where I tried the thing while loading a truck in the back of the C-130?
Like physically loading the truck without a script?
Oh no, I got a truck in the back of the C-130, like just driven into the C-130 and took off. Someone else was flying it for me. And my plan was a tactical parachute deployment out the back of the C-130 in a truck with me in the gunner's seat on the truck. I was just basically trying to see how cool we could make it.
That's fantastic.
And he opened the back door and it wouldn't come out. And so we banked really, really hard and like threw it into a turn, and it slingshotted me out at like 500 miles an hour. Like it just glitched the physics, and I like flew off the edge of the map. It was great.
Dude, this game is amazing. Like the Marksman DLC is out, and despite all of the ridiculous awesomeness in my lap, like there's so many good games to play, I still find myself in the mission editor in Arma just creating awesomeness.
Because Arma's so fun. I'm going to work on, to finish out the rest of my campaign.
James, he's been saying this since August of last year.
I'm busy, guys. You don't understand.
I think the last video you uploaded of your campaign was in September.
Yeah.
How many gigs of footage are you sitting on? You're going to upload all at once in this grand campaign?
No. I haven't uploaded anything from the campaign. I did like a teaser mission. I was like, I should turn this into a thing. I have the story all planned out. I don't know.
Dave, I think you live in like a little quantum time bubble that allows you to just sit and do this stuff all day long.
No, like, Joel is like that. Joel is like that. Joel will just pop up, like he'll play with us like every evening. He's working on Norman stuff. And he'll be like, hey, by the way, I've been like making I've just been making a board game in the background. Or like, hey, I just made this like ambient music album. I'm going to put it out. Or like, I just like Joel wakes up at like 3 a.m, just makes stuff apparently, and just releases it.
Guys, the key is just stop sleeping. Twitch.
Yeah, Dave, you did that when you were finishing up stuff for the beach trip. You were sleeping like 4 hours a night. Buddy, I love you. You weren't doing great. It was not good, Dave.
To be 100% honest here, I am never doing that again. That drive scared me. That I should not have done that.
That was me. We stayed up all night talking.
Oh, really?
Joel, Jeremiah, and I.
Oh,
we're not as young as we used to be. I was
Holy crap!
I felt pretty good. Like when the morning came, I was like, I'll just go to sleep for a couple hours. And I was like, I'm gonna die. And James was knocked out for like, I was like, oh, let's do something with James. At like 4 p.m, James is out. James ain't coming back.
I'll be up for dinner.
You woke up, got ready, and went to dinner.
And then drove home. That's what was rough.
Yeah. We're not as young as we used to be. I used to like staying up all night. I'd stay up all night and then go work landscaping.
Yeah. Like if I don't get at least 5 or 6 hours of sleep, and like even then I'm going to be tired, I just feel like off, like 100% off. Like
Jeremiah, you're like, my stomach doesn't feel so good. I got reflux.
I had acid reflux that whole week. It's gone as soon as I got home. Like it wasn't too much Mexican food, I don't think.
It could have been too much Mexican.
I have a TMI story for too much Mexican food. I'll tell you guys after the podcast. If I was Joel, I would tell you on the podcast, but I have a little bit of decency, so we're going to skip it for now. But remind me when we get off. It's pretty good. But yeah, I don't know what was up with that. Like, yeah.
What do we have? 3 nights in a row Mexican?
All of them, pretty much. It was pretty much.
Every group meal was Mexican, actually. Every single one.
Except for going out. Yeah.
Yeah. Every prepared group meal was Mexican. I love you guys.
It was amazing.
And it
was also a little rough.
It's time for the comment of the week. Dave does not have a comment of the week this week, but I have one that just pretty much sums up my life for the past 4 months since the Potato Masher video came out. Someone left this comment on the Potato Masher video, which by the way just hit 100,000 views. It's now like 102,000 as of today, which honestly I am surprised how well it's done. I'm grateful, but I'm surprised. And here's this comment. So pretty much you failed.
I knew it was going to be that
That's
one.
the only comment. Like, that's all they had to write was, yeah, so pretty much didn't work, huh? It was like, what part of the video gave you that impression? The part where it was better than all of the console games we tested? Like,
Yeah, at no point was there any indication that there was nothing less than a complete overwhelming success for that entire project in the entire video.
but like, I'm always willing to talk about stuff with people. Like, I have no issue. Anyone who wants to like debate the potato masher, I have like relished talking to them. I think I've left more comments. Like, my comment percentage rating on the potato masher video is higher than most people on YouTube doing stuff like that have gotten that many views. I've replied to so many comments.
Yeah.
Ones like that, I'm like, whatever. I can't even. That's the only time where I'm like, I can't even.
It's not worth the effort to reply because they're either trolling or just so ignorant that there's just no point.
I think it's ignorant. There have been a lot of really stupid peasant comments this week. And I don't mean peasant like people who just play on consoles. Because we all have consoles. We play on consoles.
Oh gosh, we all have consoles.
The
Peasants.
The beach trip was definitely testimony to that. Holy
Oh,
crap.
look
Joel's
who's
face
coming
just
in.
Exploded on my screen. Dude, that like went full screen on my screen for a second. Like your face just like from the bottom of my screen.
Joel
Like,
is here.
I'm watching you.
Joel, we're talking about comments of the week. But do you have like a 90 seconds? Does Joel have a little teaser for us today that's not about Star Wars? Or do you just want to talk about Star Wars for a while? We'll let you do it.
Also not about your genitals, preferably.
I think the two go together tonight.
All right, Joel, let me just finish up this comments thing and I'll turn it over to you. You can talk about literally whatever you want. I don't even care.
I only got on because I listened for like for 30 seconds a minute ago, and I heard that Jeremiah was going to say something crass, but decided not to because I wasn't on.
Oh, he said he wasn't going to do it because he's not you.
I'm saying if it was you, you'd be like,
that's what it was.
hey guys,
He has a filter.
by the way, my
Big
penis
filter, but he
don't
has a
work
filter.
anymore. And you just like launch yourself and be like, Joe, why? I'm saying I have enough of a filter.
filter.
Oh, okay.
Anyway.
For the crass.
You know, I wish when we were doing the potato masher, they had that Alienware, the little.
The Alpha?
It's $500.
It's $400
It's been on
refurbished.
sale for $400. Like,
Yeah.
quite a bit. I mean, that kind of justifies.
I wish we could have gotten a loaner copy. I would have loved to have tested it out and like keep it as like the baby potato masher to compare stuff to. Like it spec wise, it's not even close, but it's a completely ready
But
to
it's
go
good
out the
enough.
door. Exactly. Like it's a good computer out the door for $400.
Form factor's great. Have you seen it in person?
Not in person. I've seen pictures comparing it to the size of other things.
They have it at Best Buy. It's really nice.
Okay. Yeah, it's a really good size. It's impressive. But yeah, just that's all on the comments of the week thing on the potato masher comments. It's just you get all types. But
It's the internet.
you guys, there also will be an FAQ video hopefully debuting next week along with the GTA 5 video. But Joel, welcome to the podcast, buddy. You feeling all right?
Yeah, feeling good.
Cool.
Yep.
What do you want to talk about?
I'm not allowed to talk about.
You talk about Star Wars.
Wait, was
I'm
that
guessing
the was that the
did
one?
Did you guys already talk about it?
No. What?
No, we didn't.
You didn't.
Save that.
Okay.
It's a PC gaming podcast. That wasn't PC gaming news.
It's
Although we-
Star Wars. It transcends everything.
It transcends the discussion topics. It's something I love. Just like Bloodborne.
Joel.
It's
The
not
first-
something I just love. It's something like everyone freaking loves. People stop in the streets, go, "Oh, there's a new Star Wars trailer out. Yeah, go see that first."
Don't listen
Before
to
you do
Joel.
anything
The first
Traffic
15
on the
minutes of the
interstate
podcast.
stops. Everyone gets onto their cars, like on their phone, like, "Is a new trailer out, guys?" Traffic's just all sitting still.
The first 15 minutes of the podcast, we talked about cars.
It's true. All right, Joel. Was
Thank you,
there some
James.
Star Wars news today?
Yes, there was Star Wars news.
What happened today?
First of all, J.J. Abrams and Kathleen Kennedy came out on stage and talked about Star Wars, really for the first time, since 2012 when they announced they were going to make another movie. And it was awesome just hearing about, because he originally said no to directing the film, because apparently his family already had other plans, and it's a huge project to take on, to do Star Wars, especially for fans after all the prequels and stuff. But James, I think you can agree. The teaser today was just like,
Oh, it was good.
Star Wars is in good hands.
That was one of the better done trailers I've seen.
Oh my gosh! But for me, something that immediately grabbed me was the film quality. It was film. Just the lenses, the depth of field. It felt like it was shot on film, like the original
scope
trilogy.
too of the shots.
Yeah.
Just, oh,
Dude, I literally said, "Oh shit!" when that Imperial Star Destroyer was in the death. I was
You
like,
said-
"That
you
was
said,
cool."
You said that at work?
Heck yes, I did.
James, the amount of stuff that Joel was whispering under his breath, he'd be like, guys, like, did you see the trailer? It was so awesome. Like, when the guy walked out with the explosion, like, it was just so totally badass. It was just so awesome.
Oh no, it was oh my gosh, I just got so excited towards the end. He was like, and we're gonna show the teaser trailer. Dude, I loaded that thing up so quick, and I just sat there. I was like, it's gonna be 1080p. I just let it load first. I was just sitting there quietly. Yeah, I was quite giddy. This is, yeah, Star Wars means so much to me. It's awesome.
So does everything work now? Downstairs after
Yes,
today? Was that the problem?
I was miraculous healing.
The force has touched me.
The Force has awakened.
Oh! He calls his wife Joy. The Force awakened.
Oh man! All right, James, that was fantastic.
I will say the first teaser trailer, I was like, okay, that's basically just them going, Star Wars is coming. Yeah. This trailer actually showed some more stuff, and I thought it was like, hey, it doesn't look super cheesy. That was the first thing I was looking for was, does it look like a real movie, or does it look like another episode 1? You know, like, does it look like a fun movie people would actually want to watch in a modern day and age? And it does. So I'm excited.
And I feel like, man, they are just playing their cards so well. Like, I mean, for the next trailer, like the full, official trailer, that'll probably be a lot more, story related stuff. We still haven't seen Luke. We haven't seen Leia. We haven't seen a lot. Like, no other character really has said anything, like, story wise. They really are doing a really good job, I think, with it. Because I was listening to one podcast about, like, just the first teaser. Like, what were they trying to do with the first teaser? Like, they didn't want to go, here's Han Solo. This, like, they wanted to move it to new characters. They wanted to say, hey, this is a new Star Wars for new generations, stuff like that. And this was like, now they're starting to go, hey, these films are made from the same, mold as the original ones. And that's what I'm just so excited about.
At the end, that's what a lot of films do. They, like, have really good, like, upfront teasers.
Yeah.
And then towards, like, the launch, they're just like, here's pretty much all the footage.
Yeah.
You put it in order, you can see the whole movie.
Yeah.
That was like Man of Steel.
that's like Avengers is right now. I mean, the amount of content they're putting out now, it's like, I kind of want it to launch so I can see the movie in the theater, not on.
Well, part of the problem with that is, no, there's a lot of stuff teased, but I'm guessing, James, you know the general Marvel Civil War storyline?
Yeah, but that's not this movie.
No, I know it's not this movie, but I'm saying a lot of the stuff I think that I'm seeing, and I know with the story what's going to happen, it's because I already know the storyline enough that I'm seeing just little clues that maybe go, that's like, I think most people are just seeing it and going, Avengers, more Avengers, they're fighting robots. Like, that's all they need to know. You could see,
like, they had half of the fight of the Hulk versus the Hulkbuster. Yeah, online. I mean, that's true. That to me is too much. I mean, that's something you like. I can't wait to see this scene. Yeah. They show like a little tease, and then you get to see the full thing. They've released like 2 minutes of that fight.
Oh, I haven't seen 2 minutes of it. No,
was it 2 minutes?
I didn't.
They released something the other day that they played on something from MTV. That's
what I don't like is the clips from the movie they play, like they release them 2 minutes at a time. Furious 7 did a lot of that, and I skipped all those. I was like, I don't want to watch, like, if they release 7 clips that are 2 minutes apiece, that's like a tenth of the movie. Like, that's a significant chunk. I don't want to see that. So yeah, I'm glad. I'm
hoping Star Wars doesn't do that.
The Terminator trailer, it does not.
The latest one, good. Oh my gosh,
it looks bad.
It literally spoils a huge twist, unless it's like a double twist, where it's something they're like, everyone's going, oh, there's totally a twist, where really maybe it's not. Yeah. But my guess it is. I think they're just going, we're just showing everything, but it's almost ridiculous. If you don't really care, go watch it. It's kind of hilarious because you're like, wait, what did they just show? All right,
then spoiler zone, spoiler zone. What's the twist, Joel? Spoilers for Terminator Genesis.
John Connor is a Terminator.
Yeah.
Like, it's like
that sounds like an awful plot line.
It was. I mean, I still want to see it. I love Arnold Schwarzenegger, so I'm excited to still see it. I'm probably not going to go see it midnight or nothing like that. I'll probably just wait till the Dollar Theater or something like that. But it was just funny because I'm like, it's a huge plot twist in it. Like, you just wouldn't expect, just because the main character who plays John Connor does not look like kind of a badass at all. Like, he just kind of looks like a standard kind of leader dude guy. But then it's like, wait, what? And then he's like one of those morphing guys from Terminator 2, like the liquid guys.
Yeah.
But it's like, wait, what? So maybe I don't know, maybe he's still good, but he's liquid, and I don't know.
Since we've rabbit trailed enough, like as we're trying to wrap this thing down, Game of Thrones came back, of course, this Sunday.
Yeah.
I'm not that impressed.
Really?
Game of Thrones is starting to get to the point where the books got to this point, around the same point, where there was just too many storylines going on, and I felt like the quality of all of them is dipping enough. Like, it's hard to get invested in a story that you see 5 minutes of each week.
That's a good point. Yeah.
It's like a webisode version of each character's story. It's what kind of ruined The Walking Dead for me, besides the terrible writing and unlikable characters.
Some terrible things about it.
Is that it was just like everything's too split up, too many little chunks of things. I just don't like care anymore. Game of Thrones is still good. I think like it's really good television, but I'm not like, oh my gosh, Game of Thrones. It's just like, all right, I'll see the new episode when it comes out. There's just way better stuff on TV right now that's so not well known. But I did see a teaser for True Detective Season 2, which looks like it's going to be way different than Season 1. So hopefully it's really good. And they're I knew it was going to be different, but the feel and everything looks a lot different. So hopefully it's still pretty awesome.
I saw the same teaser. The original teaser for the first True Detective was kind of weird as well. Like the first one had kind of like a swampy kind of vibe to it, but it didn't have any of the vibe of the actual show. Like when you start watching it, the whole music, not at all. So I was really curious when I saw it, because I was like, this doesn't look like quality True Detective. But then when I saw the first teaser for True Detective, I didn't even really care about it at all. I only literally watched it because Matthew McConaughey. I was like, this kind of looks interesting that he's in a TV show, you know, because he wasn't in a lot up until that point. So I don't know. I'm excited for it. Mm-hmm. But what you're saying about Game of Thrones, I loved it, and I'm almost now nervous, and I don't know if I want to see the next Star Wars with you, because I just want to live in my happy Star Wars bubble that it's all awesome, and I'm very happy.
I'm not saying it's not awesome.
Everything is awesome.
Have you read the Game of Thrones books?
Seriously.
Have you read the Game of Thrones?
I've read the first. I read the whole first one.
They're at the point where the Game of Thrones books kind of go off the rails a little bit, in that there's so many storylines going on. Like, we knew the show was going to have to start condensing storylines and cutting characters out and stuff. Like, you just can't keep up with everything. And I'm not saying it's not good. It's good, but I'm not blown away when I watch Game of Thrones every week. Like, there are shows that at the end of every episode, I'm like, holy crap. Like, they just take you for a ride. Game of Thrones has not been that show for a little while. And part of it is because at this point in the books, there's just politics. Everything is politics. They killed off so many main characters already. Don't worry, there are plenty of people left to die. But like, they've killed off so many main characters that there's just like a lot of, you know, they dig themselves in a deep hole, and the books do the same thing. It doesn't mean it's not still good, but like, it's not, I still have optimism about things. I'm just not
it's a slow point in the series.
Yeah, it's pretty slow. I'm not incredibly optimistic about Game of Thrones. That's all I'm saying.
Is that a show that they could branch off and do multiple like series of this show?
I'm sure they could do a spinoff. I'm sure.
Running like at the same time.
Yes,
to kind of keep the characters a little bit more.
That would be interesting. It probably makes some money.
Where the show is right now is where he wrote that book. Actually, got like 2/3 of the way through it and said there's just too much, and he split. It was book 4, right, Jeremiah, or was it book 5 into 2 books?
Well, book 4 and book 5 happened concurrently.
Exactly. Okay, so it was book 4 he was working on. You got like 2/3 of the way through it, said this is too much. It was like 2,200 pages already at that point. So he split it by perspective, actually, and there's like by continent. So book 4 is the Eastern continent, right, Jeremiah?
Yeah.
Book 5 is Westeros. Yeah. So they did it in the books for sure.
Wait, no, flip that. Book 4 is Westeros, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But anyway, this has been Casual Shenanigans Gaming.
Oh, one more TV show. Have any of you guys caught Daredevil yet?
I've watched the first episode. It was really good. Looking forward to keeping going from there. But I'm not, you guys will be proud of me. You guys give me crap because I watch things while I work on stuff. I started watching the first episode while I was working on stuff, and then I stopped watching it. And I finished it later when I could just watch it on its own.
Yeah, you have to watch that show. It's a good story.
Well, a lot of the shows I watch when I'm working on stuff, they don't need to be watched, like just sat and stared at. This one definitely does, I think so.
Like Friends.
Exactly, like Friends. Friends is the perfect dialogue driven.
It's a good checkout show. You can like check out.
Exactly. So
listen to it, laugh.
I don't think Daredevil's going to be one of those shows, so I'm definitely saving that.
I finished the season. I really liked it so far. Like, I really like the main character. Mm-hmm. Like, I think he does a fantastic. I think he's got a good career ahead of him. The Kingpin, like,
I've heard really good things about him.
He did a fantastic job. You know, I kind of had the old like '90s Spider-Man cartoon version of of Kingpin in my head, like the real deep voice. But I like that they give him a couple layers. Like you kind of wonder why he's a little off, and then they kind of show it later on, and it's like, okay. But the fight's fantastic. Was the 3-minute fight, the hallway shot, was that in the first episode?
That's in episode 2. I've heard about it.
It's so good. It's well done in that they took a risk and thought, let's try this, and they did do an entire just scene of just one shot moving up and down a hallway. Like the camera goes this way, turns around, goes back, and they're fighting, and they go into a room, and then they come back out in the hallway, fight a little more. It was really impressive. I think it took like 8 takes, and they had like one of the stunt doubles that would like pop in from one side, but overall I think it was a pretty technical feat to accomplish.
Yeah, I've heard so many good things. I'm looking forward to playing that. But with that, we really are going to wind it down.
You guys went for a long time.
We did. Thank you, everyone who came out. Thank you for watching. We're going to play some GTA 5, probably be starting in 15 minutes or so. Everyone hop on to Teamspeak, even if you can't play, if you just want to hang out. Thank you, everyone, for coming out. Thank you, Joel. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, James. You can follow us at casualshenanigans, at JERMgaming, at Evil Viking on Twitter, and JERMgaming and Evil Viking 13 on the YouTubes. You can also find us on iTunes. You can support us on Patreon, which pays for cool projects like the Potato Masher and hosting the podcast and the Teamspeak server and other fun stuff like that. For any of you who have been missing the Minecraft server, mostly Debbie, it will be back online soon. I was away on vacation and completely forgot about it. So
was Debbie. So she didn't fuss. That's why you guys didn't hear about it.
Good point.
Yep, that's it.
Good point. But with that, guys, thank you for coming out. And as always, stay casual.
See you guys.
Bye-bye.